How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Shawn and Matt Show. My name is Matt, that is Shawn, and welcome to our show. Shawn, in today's episode, we're going to be talking about Arlington apartments getting bigger. We're going to be talking about 20 home renovations that will actually hurt your property values. And we're going to be talking about the NCAA's new ruling that now athletes can make money and monetize their name, image, and likeness, and how that may transfer over to real estate and the pros and possibly cons we'll see. First of all, welcome to the sauna. My AC is out. It is July, and it's about 79 degrees in here. So if you zoom in on my glossy forehead, how are you? You're not too phased about it.
Feels like summer. Well, you've been living in this 78-degree sauna, 80 well, it's probably about 80
I'm kind of
degrees
used to. I'm almost used to it by now. But
yeah, no, it's not
everything
too bad.
is sticky.
Yeah, it's pretty sticky. We are in the heat of summer, and we're definitely feeling the summer heat in the lack of heat maybe in the summer market. I always feel like the markets, we know that they're going to shift during the summer months. I personally feel, maybe it's my own mindset, but I feel like the market has definitely pulled back. We're not seeing as many showings and stuff. But you were able to get 2 under contract in the last 2 days, so that's amazing. Congrats on that.
Got a couple under contract. Yeah. Some properties are moving in, different pockets are moving. So let's start with the first topic. It comes to us from WTOP News, and it's entitled "Why Arlington Apartments Are Getting Bigger." According to a study from Rent Cafe, the average size of an apartment under construction in Arlington County is currently 905 square feet, which is almost 100 square feet larger than apartments 5 years ago. So, Shawn, apartment sizes are getting bigger. The biggest factor, says Doug Ressler, the manager of business intelligence for Rent Cafe, is the millennial renter that wants to buy a property. They just can't. They're priced out right now.
Yeah, I mean, that's the big thing here. Our area is so expensive, although the condo market is pretty good. But what I want to point out is these are rental units, apartment units. 900 square feet is a large unit. I mean, that's almost one bed.
It depends. Is it a 1 or a 2 bedroom? So it's the average.
Okay, so it's just the average.
So,
I see. So it doesn't matter. I was thinking it's a 1-bedroom apartment, but now they're saying it could be a 2-bedroom.
So it's just the average.
Okay.
So, 1 bedrooms are usually around 640 to 800 square feet, and then 2 bedrooms are, 850 to 1200 square feet. So the average.
Yeah, got it. Okay. Yeah, so that's interesting because, we deal with mostly sales, and I would say that on average, a sale property, a 1-bedroom, is probably about between 650 to 725 square feet, right? And that's so. And 1 and 2 bedrooms average maybe about 1,100 square feet, maybe 1,050 square feet, depending.
Yeah.
Right? So it's interesting to see that these are being built bigger, and I wonder how that's going to reflect in prices, because if you think about, all right, you're adding square footage to units, wouldn't that then think, all right, well, it's going to be a little bit more expensive, and that's kind of the reason why they're building these, is to counteract that.
Well, it's both. But they are more expensive.
Yeah.
They are larger. They are newer, but it's a lot cheaper than going out and buying a property.
Yeah, and they're saying that most of these millennial renters are making 6 figures and up, right?
Yeah, so that's the next thing they go into is they're making over $100,000. So, they're, for the most part, they're not squeaking by. If you're on the fringe of like, okay, I could buy a house or I could keep renting. Well, if you have this larger apartment, maybe you have a dog, a cat, a significant other, or they're also saying, for the digital nomad, someone that wants the flexibility, someone that's just going to, hop, skip, and jump between, New York, D.C., Miami. They don't quite know where they want to settle down for the next 7 years. They have the luxury of spending a little bit more money, renting a 1,200 square foot apartment as opposed to like only having a cookie cutter like 800 or 900 square foot apartment.
Yeah, no, it's a good option. And, there are those people out there that, they're nomadic. They want that option to be able to just fly when they can, right? And I get that. I mean, I part of my brain is like that. I just want to be here and be there and like travel as much as possible. And so it's a really good option. And I think, buying is not for everybody. And to expand these units a little bit, is, in my opinion, a really good thing. Being able to find larger units is it's something that's hard to find sometimes. And so, especially now, and they were saying that they started building these apartments pre-COVID, but right now we're seeing the need for more space. We're seeing the need for work from home spaces and things like that. So I think it's coming at a really good time, not only for the nomadic people, but for the current circumstances of work at home kind of thing.
Yeah, for the past couple of years, we've seen the trend of micro units pop up here and there in shared living spaces, especially in Crystal City, with an office building being converted into micro units. I still think there is demand for that. I also think there's demand for larger apartments.
Sure.
I also think that there's demand for regular size apartments. I just think Arlington is still lacking a lot of apartments along the metro corridors. So everyone always looks at a new building and they're like, who is going to rent there? A lot of people are.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people will.
Oh, yeah. And that's, I mean, these buildings are huge. They're being built. One thing that they noted in there was the lacks of, code, I guess. And that's allowing things to be bigger as well. They also referenced DC, right? So we're talking Arlington specific. But if you go into DC, which is right across the river, the sizes of these have actually reduced. So it's smaller in DC. And that would be because cost of land, availability of land. There is a lot of land that is available, especially along the blue and yellow line, right where Amazon is coming in. Now, I mean, the prices have soared, but, Amazon is pushing a lot of these workers in there. A lot of high-paid jobs are coming into the area, so people can afford to rent and be like, hey, I might be there for 2 years. Why would I buy? Or they don't have the cash. So, renting makes 100% sense.
Yeah, rentals under construction in DC on average are 25 square feet smaller compared to 5 years ago. The district has an average of 721 square feet, ranking it amongst the smallest apartments under construction.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the second topic. This is 20 home renovations that will hurt your home's value. Comes to us from Yahoo Finance via Go Banking Rates. Rattling off the list, lavish light fixtures. You ever walk into a house and you just see this disgusting light? And you're like, who in their right mind would ever buy that?
Yes, I was actually looking. So I'm looking for light fixtures in my dining room. And I was in one of these magazines the other day. I can't think of the name. Restoration Hardware, right? So we have a restoration hardware desk thing that we got at home. And I was like, hey, we should sell this because we don't use it much. I think it was expensive. I spent like $4,000 on this, like, that leather desk that opens, but I don't use it. And I'm like, I should try to sell this. I went on there. It's actually $6,000 now. It's gone up. So I'm like, I could probably sell this for, for pretty close. But anyways, I was in there and I was looking at light fixtures, and I'm looking, I'll spend $300, $500, $600 on a light fixture, right? They were listing for $13,000 for, it looked like, a box with like some cool stuff, but why are you spending $13,000 on a light fixture? And I agree. It's like, when you're spending that much money on little things like this, no one cares when they're buying a house.
It's rare that next person is going to be like, that's a $13,000 light fixture.
Yeah, you're wasting your money at that point.
Number 2 is too much wallpaper. I think like one like accent wall is cool with wallpaper. Wallpaper is actually coming back. I used to hate wallpaper, but I think in the right circumstance it's cool. But if you start walking into every room and there's something going on, or even one room having like multiple designs, too much.
So funny. Yeah, I'm actually looking at some wallpapers for my sunroom, so we want to do that a little bit different. But again, just an accent wall. Quick real story. Yesterday, Lindsay and I went to a listing appointment, and we walk into this house. It was literally 1960 in this place. Every wall is wallpapered, but the coolest thing about it is it's immaculate, in immaculate shape. And so I'm like, this is a good video opportunity, right?
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens with that. We might be coming out with a video that is 1960s based.
Find a 1960s suit.
Oh, yeah.
You should go on Turo and find like a 1960s car.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. Yeah,
you're already one step ahead of me.
It's going to be
Sean's
fun,
like 5 steps
ahead of me. It's going to be good.
Number 3 is texture on the walls and ceilings. I've never understood why you would texture a wall or a ceiling.
It is the worst thing ever. And you know what it costs to get rid of that? It's like I went through a place we just sold actually on Princess Street, had textured walls and ceilings, and I'm like, this is a nightmare. We were gonna renovate it, and we ended up not doing that. We sold it as is. Somebody sold it, or somebody bought it quickly. But there's a lot of cost in that to fix it because no one really wants.
You ever had a buyer appointment and they're going through their checklist of what they want, and they're like, you know what I want?
Textured wall.
A textured wall. Like, this is a must.
This is it, man.
No, it doesn't happen.
No.
Number 4, corky tiling. I don't have a huge problem with it. I think if it's somewhat new, you can maybe get away with it in like a powder room or like a half bathroom. But if we're talking the primary bathroom or all over the place, I think we're running into
some
issues.
people go a little overboard on tiling their bathrooms, and they tile every piece of it. So beware of that.
Number 5, too much carpeting. Doesn't really need to be said. Number 6, bright and bold paint colors. Again, maybe an accent wall, like one wall in the house. Other than that, you run a fine line.
Yep. Tone it down. I've been through places where every room is a different color and a bright color. Don't do it. Right.
Number 7, an extremely high-end kitchen renovation. I think this one just comes down to ROI. Yep. So if you're going to be happy with your kitchen and understand that if you put $62,000 into it, you probably aren't going to get $62,000 back. But the thing is, I think if you're happy with the renovation and you know that, like, listen, I'm probably not going to get everything, because ultimately you may over renovate it where the surrounding comparables aren't aren't going to be able to keep up.
Yeah, and it all depends, right? If you are living in your property and you're looking to renovate it and you want to make it your own, well, naturally spend what you want, right? You're living in there. If you're going to be in there 25 years, make it the coolest kitchen that you can. Make it the best kitchen you can. If you're looking to do something to flip it over, or you're going to sell in the next 2 years, do not spend that much money, because you will not get it out. You have to be smart about how much you're putting in.
Number 8, luxury bathroom. Again, this basically falls into the same line of over-personalization, not getting your money back. Number 9, home office conversion. I looked, and it looks like this article may have been written before 2020. So I think that this one may be reversed, and that a home office conversion is actually a good idea.
True. Yeah, there's a lot of conversions going on now.
This one is not a good idea. Combining bedrooms to create a bigger room. You take a 4-bedroom, turn it into a 3. You take a 3, turn it into a 2. You're going to start having issues.
That's a big issue, because bedrooms, that's another bedroom is adding so much value. You reduce a bedroom, you're reducing how many buyers are going to go there, and totally screwed up.
Number 11, removing closets. Everyone wants an open space, but where are you going to put your coats? I toured a place in PFX, Park Fairfax, completely redone. We were shocked by the open kitchen, by the courts, by the renovated. They didn't have parquet floors anymore. They had something else. Immaculate. And then we're just sitting talking in the kitchen, and we noticed just coats hanging on the back of the door, just out in the open. And then there were, in the powder room, there were like shoes in the powder room. There were no closets on the first level. It was incredible. You can't have that.
You can't get rid of the closets. Storage is a must. My past house, we didn't have much. Everything was finished. We did have some closets, but when it comes to storage, man, it's key.
Number 12, geez, there's a lot of items in this.
Okay, maybe we'll start rattling these off quickly.
Number 12, a sunroom addition. The article says that this could cost $75,000 while only adding $35,000 to the house. So if you're thinking about a sunroom, think about it again. Number 13, a built-in aquarium. If you had a petting zoo in your backyard, you're probably not going to get, the value back.
Built-in aquarium, that's great.
Number 14, built-in high-end electronics. Maybe that falls to the over-personalization as well.
Yeah, I've seen that in like Gaslight Square, high-end condos. Naturally, they have these huge closets full of electronics. You're not going to get your money out.
Number 15, a swimming pool.
I beg to differ. I'm putting one in my backyard right now.
Shawn would have paid a lot more for his house if it had swimming
Isn't it
pool.
funny how things change? Because right now, 2 years ago, we would have said swimming pools were a liability in selling your property. Now they're a positive, because so many people, I've talked to 2 people this week that are putting swimming pools in. I'm looking at it. We've talked about it, but my backyard is a little slim, but I'm looking at like something cool. I'm going to spend a lot of money on my backyard. I know I won't get the return out, but I'm doing it for myself.
What is your return on your happiness?
Oh, it's huge. And that's the key. What's your happiness? Where are you going to spend most of your time? Especially in the summer, it's so hot right now. And we could sit out on the front porch, or we could sit on the back patio that it has a swimming pool that has a cover over it that you slide the whole thing. It becomes a deck. I've got visions, but I need an architect. So if you got any architects locally, please send them my way.
Number 16, a hot tub.
Yeah, I used to be against hot tubs. Remember, I was like, they're just people are putting them in, and I changing my mind on it.
Number 17, a garage to gym or living space conversion. Again, I disagree with this one.
Yeah, it really depends. If you're adding living space, that's one thing. But if you're taking away the entire garage and you no longer have a garage, that really depends. Really depends.
I'm just going to rattle off these last three. I'm already done with this article. My attention span is like a child. All right, number 18, the wrong landscaping investment. Number 19, beautiful but messy trees. And then number 20, probably the worst of all, is DIY repairs.
Awful.
All right, let's move on to I say a lot and and so when I edit the videos, I just say it like directly into the microphone. I gotta work on not.
I don't even notice, buddy. So keep doing your ums and uhs.
Our third topic is the NCAA has just made a new ruling where athletes can monetize their name, image, and likeness. So, when Reggie Bush accepted $300,000 in college and had his 2005 Heisman Trophy removed or returned, that is now legal. You can accept money, you can sign autographs, you can get endorsements. Let's just say the floodgates have opened.
I love this. I mean, this has been one of the downsides of college sports. You know how much money these colleges and the NCAA are making off of these kids, right? And they cannot make it. It's such bull, right? And I'm so glad that this has now come where they can actually make money because they're worth millions. Some of these kids, right?
They are. And I'm trying to figure out an angle that we could use in terms of real estate. And
very smart, yeah.
The first thing that came to mind was like, okay, get a listing in Georgetown and invite the star of the Georgetown basketball team over.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the star of the team transferred to Texas Tech, Mac McClung. He's now, I think, going to the NBA draft. He might have backed out. But either way, the point being.
You throw him a shirt, right? Like you said in an interview, hey, wear the shirt or whatever.
Yeah, and throw him a shirt and a lot of money.
Yeah,
yeah. Like have him wear like a Battle Group logo hat, in the post-game presser or something of that nature. Because this isn't, you're not paying Michael Jordan $5 million to, do whatever. You're paying some 19-year-old kid beer money or gas money or rent money because, a lot of these star athletes, they leave college to join the NBA because their family literally can't afford payments. It's terrible, and so that then they have to take these under the table payments. So it'll be great for athletes, and I think it'll probably turn into athletes caring more about their brand and making money than winning. That's another conversation. But if there is a real estate angle here, why not have an open house if you're a seller and pay, some college athlete in your area? And DC, I think DC, it's Georgetown basketball and Maryland football. Am I missing anything? What are the big DC sports? It's not a huge DC town. College town.
Yeah, I mean.
But I think Georgetown basketball,
yeah.
they're going through a little bit of a rebuild. And then Maryland football, up in Maryland, Northern Virginia, George Mason basketball, if you will. But there's an angle here, and I'm not quite sure how to get
yeah, George Mason actually is a good idea.
But are you gonna know
probably not, right?
The shooting guard of
right.
the 8 and 8 George Mason.
But
team.
You know what? What if you were selling houses right around George Mason University? I mean, then those people are gonna know it.
And then
right?
how cool would it be to send out a mailer and have the dude's picture on and be like, hey, John Smith, after he's done, almost beating James Madison, after James Madison beats George Mason, he'll be at the open house.
Yeah, no, it's such a
Jamie
cool idea.
Never beats George Mason. George Mason is usually better, but no, mail it out, have some sort of attraction, and this is like pennies on the dollar of local celebrity status.
Yeah, no, it's such a good idea. I mean, you came up with the idea, you presented it to me, and I was like, wow, that's really smart. If you've got a local star, use that local star. You can do it now. Use it for real estate. It's a great idea.
Yeah, it's still a work in progress. So if you have any ideas, I'm all ears in the comment section below. We love the comments. Cool. Well, that just about does it. Definitely a monumental, a shocking but overdue change of events there with the NCAA.
Well, and the
rule.
thing is, this can keep the kids in college longer, right? They're not going to jump, like you said, they're not going to have to jump right away to the NBA. Naturally, the NBA or the whatever would be more financially probably a bigger thing, but this also kind of sets limits to them to see, all right, hey, if I'm making X during college, now my contract negotiation can be much higher for the professional sports arena.
Yeah, because you saw basketball, high school kids go play, in Australia or in Lithuania instead of going to college because they could make money over there. And then after, 2 or 3 years, they would, put their name into the draft lottery, or they would play in the developmental league, the G League, to make some more money foregoing college. So it'll be interesting to see if athletes still skirt around because they can make more money overseas, or now that the floodgates have opened, stay in school more and have me and Shawn ask for some promotion.
That's right. Let's do it.
All right, guys. Well, my face is glossy enough. It is very hot. That is the end of the show. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, we'll see you then.
Take care.